I will have cut that block in half, and I will have drilled out and inserted these helicoils to take this thread. So yeah guys, part 2 of the engraving vise, and this is where I'm up to. What I did on this was drill 3 sets of holes between these pieces whilst it was still super glued together, and then I filled them with MIG weld. Then I put the whole thing on back on the lathe, took the grinder, and whilst the lathe was turning slowly, I've just kind of shaped this in to bring in just like a nice shape on it. I'm just going to clean the chuck up, and it's probably totally unconventional, and I will have the Myford Owners Club putting out a hit on me for doing this, no doubt. So to put this together, one of the hardened steel washers goes in the bottom, then the thrust bearing, and then the other hardened steel washer, which locates in the base of that. Then I made this little collar here, which is threaded inside. That slides in into that hole. Nice and tight. And that is picked up there in the base with a screw. It's picked up with that Allen key, and I can adjust how tight or how slack I want the tension on this by tightening the Allen key up. So if I don't want it spinning like madly, I can just tighten the screw up a little bit more. I'll just back that off a bit. It's a bit too tight. That's better. So then, to hold the threaded bar, I've made this little thing, which just kind of sits in on its own volition, if you like. So that slides into there, sits in there, and is turned. The threaded rod, I had to make a new centerpiece because the original one I made was a little bit wide, and it was a bit tetchy getting it in and out of there. So I made another one. The brazing is horrible on it, so please don't look at the brazing. Oh, and I drilled a hole in the end, and I squared the hole out with a file to accept a little key I made there. So that's how we wind the vice jaws in and out with the little key. So that drops in there. And now we are ready for the blocks. There they are. They've been cut in half. I actually made a mistake. I put them on the pillar drill, the drill wandered, so what I had to do was knock a piece of brass into the hole, and then I redid it on the milling machine and re-drilled it. Then I inserted the little helicoils in. So I can never remember which way around these go, guys, so because they're obviously right-handed and left-handed, the threads on these. So could be right first time, let's see. Yeah. So the key tightens them up. You can see the mechanism working in there. And then my 2 angle blocks for the top sit on there, either that way around or that way around. Yeah, that way around, like that. And they are fixed in with some screws into that block there, into the top of the blocks. These are cut and ready to weld on. So they just want welding onto there. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a piece of wood in there that will cover these screws, just in case I ever need to dismount these tops from the blocks. I'm just going to put a piece of wood in, and I'm probably just going to hold that in with some hot melt glue, because it doesn't actually do anything, but it just makes it more comfortable for your hand to hold it. So I'll do that now, and I'm then pretty much, that is the vise done. I've got to drill some holes in the top here to hold the work. So I'll be back. And that is about it. I drilled some 5mm holes in the top to take these little vice pins, just on a random pattern. I can always re-drill them, re-drill more holes if I need to. Yeah, so vice basically done. Rotates really nice. I've just put them 2 bits of mahogany in there with a bit of hot melt glue, so they're not fixed permanently, but they're really nice to hold them. They're not cold like steel is. And so that's the vise working. So let's give it a test, eh? Put a piece of brass in. And I've got my Sean Hughes homemade engraver here. I still need to make another foot pedal for this, because it's just either on or off at the moment. The other foot pedal I made, it wasn't very clever. So we'll be making a new one of them very soon. Well, let's see how this works. Let's turn on. Straight away I can see it's better than the other vise, that's for sure. Really so easy and so much better than the other vise, you know. Oh, that is so easy. So what I need to do next is get some decent templates to sharpen my gravers with, make a foot pedal for this little engraver, clean some steel up and start trying to engrave steel again. Hopefully I won't be breaking tips, but if I am, then the box and the vise can go in the corner for another 6 months. But there we go, I like it. I really like it, I do. Right guys, in the next video, someone's actually just reminded me of this in a comment which they made the other day. Found a new way for me of making these stencils for etching logos. So I just made a whole bunch of them, and it costs so little to make these, you can't really put a price on them. I don't know, maybe a penny each or something, 2 pence each. You can use them more than once until the material gets destroyed. They seem to be okay on AC. DC tends to get the steel warm, and that does kind of kill your stencils, but I've been using these 5 and 6 times before I throw them away, each one. But I've just made a serious bunch of them, maybe 100 of them, for next to nothing. I'll show you that in the next vid. I've not really got any knives to show you because I have just been so busy. It's all been a bit manic the last few weeks, and I've had to get my knives and axes done and get sent out. If I've got any pictures, guys, I'll put them on the end of this video, okay? I will see you very soon, okay? Thanks to my patrons. Please like. If you like, I will see you quite soon. Alright guys, bye for now.